You say we're ready or birdie? Yeah? Good to go? Okay. Thank you guys for coming through, yeah? A lot of this stuff. You're an artist, you're a rapper or a singer or whatever art you're into. The brand is not you, the person. You're you're like a bottle. The important thing is not the bottle. It's just holding the important thing. The important thing is what's inside the bottle. So that is what needs to be very important than the vessel. So we focus on the vessel. We focus on I gotta look good, but you make shit music, for example. Why not perfect the art, the product? You make and then you stop making that music and you focus on social media and attending events and taking photos. How about the product? The product has to be very important than the brand in context of if you think you are the brand. The brand is your vocals. So you should not be drinking like that because maybe you have a show tomorrow, you need to sing, but today you 5 a.m. tomorrow morning you're getting home and then in the evening you have to sing. In this case it's the bottle affecting bottle lindindele bamwamba. So ologula wagagula. The first thing they'll notice indele asa naone fanta ali nkatiyo. And that's what we forget on some Facebook ads or pay some Twitter guys to run. You trend and like, but what are you getting out of it? Number one, is trending better than your art? You think making a bare minimum product will, attain market traction because there's very good products there, which then works in reverse. Some people think that the talent is enough and the rest plan. The plan needs to still be there. So if you're gonna take a detour, you need to make sure that it connects still. It still gets back into the road to go ahead. Market research is also something that I think we don't look into when we're building products. This is why a lot of brands fail. Will be fire for a year or two and then, that they're relaxed. And I know we have to recollect, recharge. Wine, you want to learn that? There's people that will teach you that. Wine, you want to learn that? There's people that will teach you that. I'm not one of them, but you can learn that. But wine, for people like me, wine is a product. So I have to understand it. If I'm going to spend money on it, it means it could be for pleasure and fun. At the same time, I keep learning because we only have one winery here. Well, at the same time, I keep learning because we only have one winery here. Well, actually, wine as well, which we tasted at the wine festival, which is great. But learning never stops. So you cannot odd knowledge. What you learned 5 years ago might not be practical the same way it was right now. A lot of things have changed. And as we build brands, products, we need to still keep learning. There's free learning resources. There's Coursera, there's Allison. There's a lot on LinkedIn that I finished this course. You have to learn. Like you have to choose the courses that are like you have to choose the courses that align with your product, with your brand, with what you want to build. More which works. Visibility is nice, social capital is nice, but social capital that's not actionable is useless. It's just people that you have contacts with. What's the point of me having Nambalaya president, for example? I have it if I have it in my phone. This is banga nayo jani. And you could talk to people that will assist you, will help your brand grow. I know ABCD kumoa zimaenda bo zimavega ngati ndiza nice, but then what do you do with those people? What if you code them for a project? Will they show up, or they'll think you're trying to ask for alcohol? So how we position ourselves is also very important in business in general, but I want to tackle mostly branding in general and social media presence. Branding is you understanding your demographic, number one, before you build the product. You don't like getting money and buy. But as I said, demographics and data, you have to work with actionable intel. So you can create UAO in the studio, wabanga bang, but it drops and your ego is bruised because the reception is not, because ulibe release plan, ulibe plani, ulindi nyimbo jabe. So talent on its own, product on its own, it's nothing. It's just anyone can create a product. Anyone can make chili, for example. By why is it that people still want 77th Avenue chili? Navangama batch angono a couple years ago. Why is everyone looking forward to it till today? 4 years later, the product is still not there. Why is that? Most of the people that bought my chili without extensive, not intensive, extensive market research zikanatha bwanji ingananga kukhala product ina soto yangochuka basi. There used to be a product we used to buy mukuba ina yake mu street imu. When you went to the market, young professionals, those are not demographics. Young professionals, those are not demographics. That's a basic. Anyone could say that. Amagula tomato kwambiri ndi ndani. Amagula kwambiri ndi young men okudayamba ntchito kumene. Yeah, mesa kukhala okha. But is that enough? It's not enough. You need to know the time that they often buy so that you make sure that you have fresh vegetables around that time. Either you can, if that's your market, you sazagula kupita kunchito. So iweyo anthu ena zikhala ndi vegetables are fresh mamawa. Iwe zikhala nawo jamba 4-5 because you're targeting on taja kumachuka kujani kunchito. So the time is a more important demographic in this one than the people that are buying. But time is never put in the demographics when people are talking about the market they're catering to. They just talk about the people. They don't talk about people's time. People's time, So all these things eventually come 360, but they have to be applicable into the business by the end of the day. I think that the other important part that I wanted to talk about today was the piece of visibility. Anyone can be visible anytime. I started on that. You can buy visibility. You can pay for visibility. But you cannot pay to have a good brand, a good product. Because if you don't believe in it, even the people that are building it for you will not build it with, the oomph, the je ne sais quoi. The je ne sais quoi is you, the original idea. So anyone else can implement your dream, but it's your dream. You are the one who knows the details of that dream. You are the one who dreamt it. And even if you tell someone about that dream, it's like reported speech. It's like explaining a movie to someone who has not seen it. So they will have their own picture, not the picture that you saw. So even when you're building products with other people, you need to be the center of Ali Sandi Blambala by the end of the day, But when we're building products, most times because we believe in the product so much, we want to be the bosses before the product is sustainable or it can run on its own, which is now also another thing about building brands, the structures. The structures are key as people, which also a lot of people are working towards using this thing. There's nobody who is self-made, simply because there's someone who helped you perfect something. They have to count, whether it doesn't matter how small their contribution was. They helped you be where you are. They helped you learn to the point of you producing that quality. So if you say you're self-made just because no one gave you funding to start the business, but someone gave you knowledge for you to think of starting the business, you need to package and sell it and hagula. It was not your idea. I used to make chili for home. And the time I started making chili, I was at my lowest. And I made it for home, and one of my friends said, you could sell this. It's a passion. I don't want to sell a passion. When you start selling passions, you lose the plot. And they said, not this one. And I took that in, and slowly I started redeveloping the product. I started product tasting. And then when the product was about to come out, the authorities said, compliance. So I said, okay, so you could have the dream, you could have the market, but it might not be enough. Before you guys came, we were playing this game. Everyone thinks that it has equal pieces, but it actually doesn't. They have to be 9, so they can't be equal. don't know math, but I know that. So you could have all the resources. The 4 has lost to a guy with 3. So game plan is more important than resources sometimes. You could achieve more with minimal resources. It's about having, and today I got reminded that there's no original ideas, just original execution. That's correct, right? Is that correct? Okay. So like, you could develop the same product that someone is developing, but how you bring it to market, how you market it, could be what makes your product hit. There's different social media platforms. I'm not going to talk about events today, by the way. There's a lot of like social media platforms, but why is it that Twitter is the toxic one that everyone loves? Toxic but loved. Why is that? It's how it's positioned with the free speech, right? So people, they seal the toxicity with free will or free speech. Maybe that is what sells. But Facebook is also turning to be the same in the comments there, But they're different, they cater to different people. But how these guys, everyone is trying to build an all-in-one app and all these things. They're marketed differently, but the same product. It is a perfect example for people to choose the perfect market. Cater to your market, and that should be enough. It's okay to have niche market. It's okay to have 10 clients that pay 100,000 kwacha than to have 100 clients that pay 10,000 kwacha. The math might be wrong, but money going out, so priorities in terms of the product, but all those problems are superficial because you don't know your demographic. So when building brands, when building products, when building relationships, partnerships, be intentional, strategic, that is what sells. Visibility is a cherry on top and not necessarily it. When you start, everyone follows. You don't have to find the followers first. You have to give the followers what to follow. What are they following? Are they following a tweet? By the end of the day, all this visibility and cloud is just likes and followers that do not the most part. Most people that complain on the internet about certain products or certain services have actually never used them. They saw someone complain about it. So in their time, they go for it because the internet is toxic. Internet, you could have so many likes, but very few sales. Views and followers do not translate into revenue. The conversion is very low, especially for countries like Malawi, where we can't even monetize content. So if you're monetizing content and you're doing things for content, that's a different story. Even the ambassadorships that people get or the influencer deals that people get here, I don't think they're that lucrative. But it's a start. But you cannot center your entire brand or product on that very small market, a market that we have not entered yet. We are learning to enter. We're learning to monetize content, and monetizing content is kunja zima pweka because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of things that you can do. Kunogo, we're scrambling for the little sugar when I'm failing to have moonshine now. There's no sugar. I'm really pissed. It's a whole different story. But continuing with your day, is sugar the most important aspect of your life as Timmy? Yeah, but it's very important, by the way. Sugar is very important. Yeah, but it hasn't stopped me from coming here. So we spend time to complain than find solutions. I'm gonna start a honey product soon, so I saw a market gap and I'm gonna take it. Yeah, and the last bit was on collaboration. Most times we offer people the bare minimum in partnerships. We want, instead of adding value to what people are creating, we want to turn that into our creation. I make chili. You have a restaurant. There's 2 ways we can partner. You can either, if you sell things in the shop, I can have my jars there. But you know what would work easily for you and for me? You could use my chili for cooking some of the meals that you use chili for, number one. And then when people ask, could sell, and you could make your cut from the chili. Not just putting my chili on the shelf. That's bare minimum. This is what we've learned all along. Placement. Be it logo placement, be it banner placement. I hate banners, by the way. These roll-ups. No. Put a flag there. Hey, Zingopanga. You know? We need to rethink how we partner with people and collaborate. But it still goes back to the product. You need to figure out the product to know with how I position my chili, the people that I want to buy this chili, so it's imperative that you go to those people and talk to them the way you want to position the product and see if you find synergy. If you don't find synergy, it's not going to win. But just bare minimum things that have been done over the years will not yield different results. So partnerships need to be strategic. And partnerships cannot be just broad and generic to say we're just the full event or product partner. You have to think it on what element of my product or my service are these partners filling? What gap? Financial, is it just akulipa drama, or are they teaching creatives how to manage finances? Why are they not teaching artists how to manage money? When an artist dies, there's always this drama for be filled by water company. So I'm gonna be filled by water company. So I'm gonna approach these 5 water companies. I wonder offer value, our value. We don't offer value to partners, so they give us the bare minimum. We're also the problem, not them. And because we know the plan, we can say no to what they want. Because other danso idani iwenagurana ngati osabwera ena agairana danso ija. So no one should say that something will not work because there's no one katswiri sangakale eka dolo samakala weka muntu. You know, there's other people that can offer the same service. But you have to plan that. You have to be intentional about who to approach. It's like features. Fada ngokuma na mu studio basi ukhalipa nyimbo yanga. No, nyimbo hii nineyo ndinamva mukuti mama menanga khali ndawa kuti wakuti. So ndikakanika amene ujai mwinano tikoza. But you need to be intentional about things, about business, about brands. About things, about business, about brands. And as I think as we grow as artists, eventually adds to value in terms of pricing and costing. If you can't, some people charge cheaper because it's for mass market. Some people charge higher because it's for niche market. You can only have that conversation if you figured out which market you're catering to, which takes us back to demographics and who you're trying to build the product for, or who you built the product for. Most people follow pricing by charging. What is the market rate for ABCD? When it should be, what is your rate for ABCD? It's your product and your service. In 2022, a 285 milliliters jar of my chili was 10. Yeah, they sold out before I finished making them. Product positioning, branding, and niche market, all these things play a part. Which means that even if this product was go to shops, I'm not sure about that yet. So I can't roll this product to shops unless I test that market. But as it is, I know the niche market. So service the niche market before you service the larger markets, because when the product goes high, there's a lot of problems that you will not manage. There's small things like supply and demand. If you're a small business, wapitisa product yako mu food lovers, aigula yata anthu nonda kufuna ina iweyo ulibe capacity yotupange another 1,000 jars. What are you going to do? Why did you go to food lovers? Are you ready for food lovers? Yes, you make the money, but is that sustainable? You know, it's fine to build alone, but when you build as a community, for the community, collaborate, pick the right partners, the right strategic. Some are right, some are strategic. Some can just be right. Tonika board some can just be right. Tonika board tikapanga co brand. but they're not serving anything else apart from aesthetics. So accredit them as partnership, not a strategic partner. They're not strategic. Aesthetics are change aesthetics every day. The product will not change. It will not change. If it's a bad product, it's a bad product. A bad song is a bad song. It doesn't matter how many streams it has. As someone who co-founded a music streaming service before, we have banned some people for just downloading the same song kuti ikhale pa number 1. Mangu ipanga yomweja ainayo makopies 1000 mweja ainayo makopies 1000 mu phone mwao for dangu ipanga download iwo without knowing that addresses are registered and so all those things are in play now. You can buy streams on Fiverr and you'll be top chart on Spotify in Malawi. So numbers lie. Numbers lie. Data does not. Yeah, data is not just numbers. Data is a lot of things. Data is the numbers, behavior, time, all this put together is data. Actionable that you can position product, not just numbers. Yeah. Not in creative businesses, not in branding. Numbers are not everything. Yeah. The same way chifo chitu kwazaza sikuti apanga ndrama. Kukoza kuzaza ni ma 10 pin. Kukoza khala ndo 5 alibila ma 100 million. Yeah, so numbers are not everything. We shouldn't keep using that. Because numbers don't lie. Numbers lie. Yeah. Numbers lie. Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know if you guys have, questions or additions. I could take those.
Do you have any questions? No. First off, thank you very much for that. Mine is just, mine is not a question, but a comment.
Ndemanga?
I just wanted to know, in what you're saying, could be not being what directly could be linked, but we should look for value and not visibility. Has there been situations where having too much or a lot of visibility actually diluted the value of the product that you know of?
Yeah.
Please repeat the question.
Okay. You should repeat it, and then I can repeat.
I think he wants to go on mic. Yeah, so he wants you to repeat your question.
Has there been a situation where too much the value? Ambidi ankani. There's a lot of events that just started happening every weekend. Huh?
You're going to events.
Oh, well, I mean, but not just events.
Yeah.
Market saturation affects value. There was a drink. What was it called? Prime? There was a famous drink. Yeah, Jack Paul's drink. He was selling for $1,000 at some point, over $1,000, and then it was on sale for what? $2, because it eventually just flooded the market. So there's been a lot of those. A lot of businesses have died because scarcity creates value. That's the answer. Ngati iweyo uli oimba and ndimalipira ku show yako koma ndimakumana nawe daily timangomwa moonshine ndi ndilipira ku show yako kuti zikapanga chani. Yeah. Does that answer it? Yeah. So it's both ways. It's products, services, people. And I want to repeat this. An artist is not the brand. His music is. Sound. If you stop making this, the brand is the sound. You are the body that the sound is in. The sound is more important. When the sound is no longer good, it means the brand is no longer good. This is why sometimes people say that certain people are no longer good at music anymore. They're good at social media. You understand? It's that thing. It's value ije nasintano. It's no longer about the music. It's about naliru kwakuti navala mawuti my outfit, and it's no longer about the music unless you have a fashion line that you're trying to sell clothes for. Then I'll get that. But the clothes are fueled by your music, isn't it? Which means you need to keep making for you to be relatable, for people to relate to your clothes. So the sound is still important, the product, and it cannot be too available. Yeah. Anyone? Yes.
You said something about you don't build a product and go look for a market. Can you please clarify that?
You don't build a product and then you build a product with a market in mind. So you need to do market research to, for the product you want to build. Market research is part of product development. It's in R&D. So R&D comes before product rollout.
R&D is what?
Research and development is also is also a strain. Yeah, and research never ends because you have research pre-product rollout, and then you have to do research as soon as you roll out the product to see reception. Has it been received? How are people, how are people taking it in? So research never ends. Yeah, because that then allows you to shift. If there's a shift in the market, because you have the research, you shift accordingly. You're not stuck in 2001 when your client in Domeo, sana sinte, but it means also you're comfortable, you don't want to grow. Yeah, you'll be stuck there. Yeah.
So I mean, in the creative sector, I mean it's good to say what you're saying, which makes a lot of sense. But we usually value on visibility. For example, I'll say if somebody releases a music video as an artist, the first thing that we will say will be, I know it got 100,000 views in a day, something like that. So I'm just saying, how can we prioritize value? What sort of strategies or what sort of ideas can we use to like change our mindset to where we're focusing on the value and not just let me get 100,000 views?
Two ways. In music, there's music is a very interesting example, but I'll try to break it down properly. Some people are in the music industry. Some people are in the music business. People in the music business will look at the views and see how much money they're making from you on the views. Some people will look at the views and look at who they are competing against in the music industry. I have more views than Yaks, but sinabange ndrama ineliose. You understand? So just those two demographics are different and they're handled differently. And now akupanga za visibility in the business. Nga video tajambula yabanga cost 3 million kwa back. Very few artists think like that. They think of we have to service our fan base. Kuti ati buke kumashow. Kumanawe kunoko business ya music for artists the mashow. But streaming is entering the chat. Excuse me. It's about monetizing. If it's in business, you need to figure out monetizing. The views are nice. They will help you. They'll push you somewhere. But you need to have a plan with everything you're releasing. So wango drop a song. Nyimbo yubida wandani. How are you reaching them? Just posting it on YouTube, you think that's enough? There's now people are doing challenges, all those things eventually. They need to, what's end game? What are we trying to achieve? That strategy is what most artists do not have. They just video and the songs to release and hoping ihita or poipanga maipanga wouldn't hit, and then they get disappointed and then they end up taking it off YouTube. Yeah.
I have another question, right?
Yeah.
So like you mentioned, especially on the artists, you specifically mentioned about how like there's certain people who make music, right? I'll give you a good example. For example, let's say no names, of course, but like a rapper from Blanta who's very talented, but like he doesn't really know how to brand himself. I mean, it's so good, it's beautiful. It almost every time the music does the same for him, but like the music can like carry for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you think those kind of people need to do to like get into in those spaces where like
we say broke as a church mouse. A mouse that's guaranteed food and alcohol is a church mouse. So it stays there. It knows where it is. So it's comfortable where it is, and it doesn't care that people see it as a broke mouse. It can eat. You can. They have to be willing. They have to see the vision. They have to have a bigger vision. Some people don't because they're just comfortable in there. Apeza show yagu kwina kwake akarana pasa yakukunda mozi akagula ujeni praxi, but then it's enough. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You cannot really do anything for people like that. No matter what you try, no matter what, you have to see it. And it's not your job, unless it's your job to do that. If you're being paid or whatever to do that, but from like, I also have friends like that. I have worked with musicians in this industry that I thought that these two things, nothing, not even at cost. Let's do this on me. Nyimbo hizi usamango zisunga, let's drop them. There's a strategy. Everything for free. No, they're comfortable. Dizingonvesele sana kupa Bluetooth basi. So it all comes back to will, as well as just seeing the bigger picture. They have to see it because it's their talent by the end of the day. The talent is in them. It's not them. So as I said, we forget that we think that the talent will always come through for us. But as the carriers of that talent, we were not taking care of the vessel that needs to carry the talent, then we're messing with the bread or the visibility or what could have been. Talk about it. People have to talk about it. People have to talk about it because they've experienced it. That's value. It's a content. There's sponsored content. And then there's UGC. UGC beats everything. User-generated content will beat anything created by anybody, because as people that have created, they've created it because they created it in an emotion of experience in real time. Even kuti aona moment imene yoyo, they've captured it aisunga because it's now ours, and when they're releasing it, it's connecting with and entertaining. That's value. Not you creating 10 videos and dropping them. See the difference? Create a conducive environment that then people create on top of it. So it still goes back to the original create on top of it. So it still goes back to the original product itself. The original needs to be solid. It will create value. If you have created it with the market in mind. Yes, positioning. So create to position to. Ijiji nukanga ijiji asabanga consume magaya wow. Iji magaya wow. That's value. Planning. The strategy needs to, feed itself 360. It still needs to go back. It needs to feed each other. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay.
This is me putting you.
Okay. I'm g-
Competing with global brands and let's say a billion other people on Instagram. What's your take on AI? Is it being used on the visibility side, or how do you use AI in this stage to build the value part? Because I know a lot of people are creating content with AI, but I feel like that's the visibility part. The value side. Are you using AI?
I use AI. But AI only works for you if it works on what you feed it. You have to have what you want it to do for you. For the most part, it does math for me. The product. Because if it develops it for you entirely, iweyo the product. Because if it develops it for you entirely, iweyo, as I said, you're not in it. You're not part of the product. So you will not push the product or know what to do with it. It will just be a good product. It's like driving a muscle car at 40 all the time, Yeah. So yes, AI is good, but you have to feed it for it to be as good for your product. Yeah. Man's worldwide, bruv. Man's worldwide. Yeah, man. But AI is good, but it also makes certain people lazy because they think all you have to do is no, man. You have to do the actual market research to feed it. It will not be the one going to Illusions to find out pricing of wine to compare with Cafe 92. Bottle as air easy wa bunch, you know, unless bread wapanga post. Hey, Illusions mpaka 150, you know, and then someone wapanga post za huku, and then maybe that, but that's subjective. Yeah, but you have to do your own market research and then have AI help you develop a product on top of it, maybe, or streamline a strategy to drop that product. Yeah, I hope that answers it. Okay. Yes, Paula. Yes and no. Yes, in a way that it's case by case. It's dependent. I'll give you an example. You're in the food business. There was a lady on Twitter who made this beautiful looking mandasi. Analogongola. You understand? Someone bought them, ordered them, they were delivered. And when they opened them, the dough was not cooked. Do you understand? They looked really nice. They did not perfect the product. So you see, the product, as I keep saying, in music is the music. So it's fine if they don't know you. If your music, they know it and it's going, you're making money from it. Why do they have to know you? I know some people that they don't make music for releasing. They make music that's licensed. And then movies use that music in movies and series, and they make their bag. They don't drop they drop maybe a song a year, but they're making bag every day. It's not about them being there. It's not about them having the name of their company in the bio of their social media. No, that as a Malawian, they're having their songs in movies in America, in Canada, in across the world, because they are as good on the international platform. So it plays both sides. Yeah, I hope that answers it. Okay. A1, I'm expecting a question from you. Run it.
What would you, because I've realized that I've noticed we're talking a lot about creative business.
Yeah.
And then I think one unique thing that I've seen in creative businesses, especially strategy-wise, is that there'll be a lot of businesses that seem to be doing the right thing. A lot of the things that you've mentioned here,
Mm-hmm.
making sure they're doing product for the right audience, making sure that the product is right, making sure that it fits, and maybe even doing a little bit of advertising here and there. But then the product just doesn't seem to take off, for one thing. I'll give you an example. A close example, I think, is this place. I think they serve food sometimes. There's food culture. I don't know if you're here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been here. I live in this hood, so I know them. And sometimes I'll come pick up something, I'll order something from the house. But then I've never seen a situation where there's a group of people here who are like this amount of people, right? Where they've come and said, we're going to have lunch and food culture.
Mm.
Then, because I live here, I know the amount of businesses.
Mm.
I can go to City Mall and get a really quick.
Mm.
I can go to City Mall and get a really quick meal. So obviously the market is 47 is there. What would you suggest for a business like that, where the product seems to be set, but done all the good things in terms of branding, experience? Because when you come and eat here, it's nice, it's quiet, you have a nice vibe to chill, all that kind of thing. But then it just hasn't taken off, it's chill, all that kind of thing. But then it just hasn't taken off, especially me as like in that kind of space.
Mm.
I thought it would take off like quick. Like in the weekends, I'd see maybe one or two families come in and grab food and whatever. But it hasn't taken off. What would you suggest to a business like that? Where do you think they're going kind of or missing it?
Okay. So just to repeat your question, and to see if I got it right. There are businesses that have the branding and the market segments well done. The aesthetics, everything is fine. Why are they not taking off? Go there and you find it's closed. One, no notice that we're closed. So comms, yes, branding is there, but branding and communication are different things. So communication is not there. Effective communication or intentional communication is not there, and the consistency of your product and service, which I'll go back to. I make chili and then I've decided to take it to food lovers, but I cannot sustain the supply. It's the same problem. Yeah. So good product, good branding, good everything, but consistency of supply is the problem. So certain business look like they have everything in order, but they're not ready for growth. So, but the growth is not in terms of they can't make enough burgers or whatever. No. It's the house itself, like the core system that handles the business. If the business is centered on a person, godwala, basi tukulibe tu saina macheke mwina. You understand? So it's all those things that come into play. When building businesses, products, and all these things, the backbone is more important because you can't be the only one running a business now that's selling the whole country. But it's centered on you. Ugadwala, but notice it. You see? So it's things like those. It's not. There's a lot into branding, and communication needs to play a big role because there's internal comms where you tell the people you work with or partners on, updates on what's happening and whatnot. But there's also external comms where, guys, they're all this is a good for it in the private part.
Literally talking about this is the first time I've heard about off script.
We have been putting it on social media. We stream to Instagram and YouTube. So like we're live on YouTube right now as well. Yeah, but it's every second Thursday of the month, and this is the third one that we've done. Yeah.
You should also create. Do you have a group?
No, we do have a
Com-
community.
A community, yeah, the community, yeah.
Widespread.
Yeah, off script. Yeah. So that we could also share like post event notes and whatever.
Because this is a good development. Like, if you knew about it, bring him and my team come up.
Yeah.
Somewhat the routine building.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure.
Are we gonna challenge you to play the game one more time?
Run it. Let's see. Oh, actually, yeah, let's do it. Which ones do you want? You want more or you want less? You think you win? Let's run it.
Start in the middle.
Weird paw.
Alright. Thank you so much for everybody. I already started working. But yeah, thank you so much for pulling through. This is Aluso Arts, Creative Hub, and place for all sorts of creative activities. So, like I said, we do off script every month. This is our third edition, and we'd like to thank my very good friends, to Los Angeles, Lord Timothee. Yeah, and all you guys for coming through as well. I know it's a Thursday morning. We got work. Yeah, if you missed anything, you can always watch this on our YouTube. We also share notes. Should be up today or tomorrow, so you can just follow us on socials, Zaluso Arts, for the notes. And you can also see notes from our previous speakers.